Hello, if you've been here before, welcome back. If not, hi, my name is David. I make videos talking about media that I want to talk about. This video is a little bit misleading. Yes, this is a book haul to talk about the books that I got on my vacation up to the Pacific Northwest, specifically the Portland, Camas, Washougal area. But I also have a handful, or more than a handful, of books that I want to talk about that I have been collecting that I have not yet talked to you all, the audience at home, about yet. But yeah, I was on a trip in the Pacific Northwest and I got back a few days ago and I got a handful of books there. And so I was waiting to do another book haul, but then I just didn't account for the trip, and I knew that I was going to get some books there as well. And so I've been collecting books, and I was going to wait a bit more till I cleared some books from my physical TBR. These books I will not yet add into my TBR rotation until maybe 2 or 3 months later in the year, but might as well touch on them right now just to get that out of the way. You know what I mean? So I'll do this in two groups, two large groups. First, the books that I did not get from my vacation. These have just been stockpiling for the past few months since my last book haul. I don't remember when it was or which one it was, but it'll be linked somewhere here. But yeah, so in no particular order, I guess an easy small group to start with are books that I got from a very cheap library bookstore. My library has a really tiny 10-cent book store. So I got 4 books. You can't see it very well. The title is The Clockwork Dagger by Beth Cato. I have no idea what it's about, but it is a steampunk fantasy. Orphan nest child Octavia Leander was doomed to grow up on the streets until Miss Percival saved her, and she has incredible powers to heal. And she's on her first mission, and she's on an airship, and so it's very steampunk. And I remember reading a book that was self-published. I had bought it at like a con, and it was a collection of like 5 short stories that were steampunk. I could not get through the first story, and I gave it away. And I kind of regret that because I do want to read more steampunk. Well, okay, I don't want to say that that's a goal of mine because there's so many things I want to read, but I have not really read any steampunk books that I can think of off the top of my head. If you know some other steampunk books that are a lot more popular, maybe I might have read them. I think Master of Gin is steampunk or silkpunk. I'm not fully sure. I think it's one or the other. I liked Master of Gin, P.J. Lee Clark. But this would be, I guess, one of the first main books that I will read that is of steampunk. I'm going to start stacking them here. Then we have The Winter Night by Jess Battis. All of these books in this book store I've never heard of, but they sounded interesting. This is a fantasy. Its Knights at the Round Table are live in Vancouver, Washington. Right? It's a propulsive urban fairy tale and detective story with queer and trans heroes that asks what it means to be a myth, who gets to star in these tales, and ultimately how we make our stories our own. And it is set in the Pacific Northwest. I think that's why I wanted to get it. Or maybe it is just Canada. Yeah, it is Canada. I don't know why I thought it was in Vancouver, Washington. I was like, oh yeah, but no, it's set in Vancouver, Canada, which makes a lot more sense to me, honestly. But this is a urban fantasy. Looks a little YA as well. Queer. No idea what it is about, what it's going to be, but it sounds pretty fun. Then we have Dead Float by Warren C. Easley. Cal Claxton, a former LA prosecutor, now practicing law in Oregon's wine country. That's why I confused both of these. This is in Canada, not Vancouver, Washington, but in Vancouver, Canada. This is set in somewhere in Oregon. Somewhere in Oregon. It's a detective story. Portland, yeah. This man, Cal Claxton, is asked to assist guiding a group of executives from a high-tech firm in Portland, and they're on a conflict resolution exercise in the woods. They're in a remote canyon, and so it's sort of like a survival thing, thriller Oh, at the front here it says a Cal Claxton mystery, so it might actually be like a series of something or another. What? On the back here it says praise for matters of doubt, which is this the second book? I need to check that. This might be the second book of the series. I don't know. Yeah, it might be the second book. In the acknowledgement, it says, once again, deepest thanks to these people. Ooh, God. Well, we'll see if I can scrounge up the first book, if there is a first book to this. We have Perfidia by James Elroy. To be honest, the only thing that drew me to this beyond just like, oh, well, I saw the title and I was like, let me read it. But the title I was drawn to because Perfidia is the name of one of the characters in One Battle After Another, which I really liked. But anyways, this is set in 1941, December 6th. America is about to enter World War II. This is about after the bombing in Pearl Harbor, there is a murder of a Japanese family that summons 3 men and 1 woman, William H. Parker, Sergeant Dudley Smith, Hideo Ashida, and Kay Lake, who are tasked to investigate this murder together, and there's conflict that happens. The crime becomes a political storm center that brilliantly illuminates these 4 driven souls: comrades, rivals, lovers, history's pawns. And so it's a historical fiction, also thriller / mystery, perhaps. I'm gonna say it's a thriller. And it's chunky too. Oh, it's also like, oh, it has like a, I didn't flip through it, but it has like time codes in here. So that's definitely thriller-esque. So that sounds exciting, and it's different points of views. I just was drawn to it because of the name Perfidia. So the next books, yeah, it's just random books that I got. I got Rebel Rising by Beth Revis. Beth Revis, I have read her book, The Night of the Witch, with Sarah Rash for a book club. Beth Revis, this is her book about the backstory of Jyn Erso. I bought this because I finished the Andor series on Disney Plus, and so I wanted to. I really liked Andor's story, so I wanted to get part of Jyn's story as well, and so that's why I bought it. And I was planning to read it pretty soon, but I was like, you know what? I did buy it when I just finished the series, and I was like, I was a little drunk, and I was like, I need to get this book. I have it now. It'll be in the rotation at some point. Like I said, 2 or 3 months, it'll go into the TBR rotation. Oh yeah, regarding these library books, I will be removing the library coverings because I kind of don't like how it looks on my shelves like this. But I'm restraining myself and waiting until I actually get to reading the books, that I'll remove the stickers and the coverings and stuff like that. That'll be a surgery, you know what I mean? Next, I got Wretch by Eric LaRocca, which is about a man whose husband recently died, and Simeon Link, that's the man's name, who finds himself in seeking comfort in an unusual sport group called the Wretches. And it's I've heard it be described as a sort of reverse haunting, which I don't fully understand what that means, but it sounds really interesting. It's queer too. Nightmarish tech gothic thrill ride about sorrow, memory, and the unabashed complexity of love as a transgressive act. All right. And I believe this is a magazine. This is Horror. Calls it the modern day Clive Barker, or at least calls Eric LaRocca modern day Clive Barker. Let me take this out for you to see. I believe This Is Horror is a magazine or some sort of critique thing. Recently, I watched a video. Kayla Says is now making book content, and so she made a video talking about her thoughts on this book, and I've been wanting to read it, and because she said that it's really good, I was like, you know what, let me go and buy it. And so I'm excited to read it because of, I think it's Kayla Reads. I'll tag her in the description below. But yeah, I bought it because she talked about it. I was like, you know what? Yeah, I've heard a lot of good things for Wretch, and she liked it a lot as well. So I bought it because of that. I also got She Who Became the Sun by Shelley Parker Chan. I remember having this book on my TBR. Well, I knew there was Sapphic. I remember adding it along the same time that I added Crier's War and uh, The Unbroken. There's a handful of Sapphic fantasy books that I've heard about that I added at the same time. This is one of them, Priory of the Orange Tree as well. I think so. I believe I removed Priory Orange Tree and this one from my TBR a hot minute ago. But a former friend of mine had read it as well, I believe. And this is also a Sapphic. This is a retelling of Mulan, set in our real world of the Ming Dynasty in China. However, as like I said, I had removed it from my TBR, but then going to the recent book club for Starter Villain by John Scalzi, I was not able to go to the months prior book club, which was The Night Ends with Fire. Like, I was not able to go to the book club for this book. So when we went to for the next month, the book was different. But after talking about that, we were like, hey, some of us weren't able to come to this book club meeting. What did we think about it? And so someone in that book club said, hey, if you didn't really enjoy this, you might enjoy She Who Became the Sun, also retelling of Mulan, allegedly really good, and also Sapphic. This could have been queer. If this was queer, it would have been much, much better. But it wasn't. So I bought this book because they said that it would be a good addition to good read in addition to the Mulan retellings. And yeah, I had removed it from my TBR. I don't remember why. Maybe because I was like trying to just trim it down. It didn't sound that exciting. Also, maybe because my former friend read it and I was like, I don't want to think about her. But it's been a hot minute anyway, so I'm adding it back. Then I got Semiosis by Sue Burke, which is a sci-fi horror about colonists from Earth wanting the perfect home, but they'll have to survive on the one they found. They don't realize another life form watches and waits. Can humans learn how to communicate with the planet's sentient species and forge an alliance to prove that humans are more than mere tools? Question mark. Sci-fi horror. It looks to be like we have colonized a new planet, and the moon planet wants to kill us, and so that sounds really interesting. Bio horror, I believe, is a subgenre. I specifically remember I had wanted to read this book. I had it on my TBR. I got this book as a free credit from Thrift Books, and I remember trying to buy this book before on Thrift Books. And when it allegedly arrived, it was not that, but it was like a book about like geology or something with construction, something with rock or something or another. I was like, what is this? And I messaged them and they're like, oh, sorry, it looks like we first did not have any more copies, and second, accidentally sent you the wrong one. So just send it back and we'll give you the money back. And I was like, awesome, great. But now I finally have it. And I'm really excited to read some more bio horror because there are books that I wanted to read that are like bio horror that I have put it on my TBR in terms of I want to read it, and then there are some books that I have accidentally read that were accidentally bio horror, and that's been really fun. But this is one that I've heard a lot about for a long time, so that's exciting. I got The Last Contract of Isako by Fonda Lee. This was on a whim that I got it as a book of the month, additional to canon, because this was May of 2026, this past month, and I got it along with canon, Paige Lewis. Did not like canon as much. I am excited to read this one, but because I had it as an addition, I didn't want to just read it in the month like I tried to, because I try to, when I'm doing book of the month, I'm trying to read each book as they come every month. So I'm not behind. I'm technically now 2 books behind in terms of this one, and then I got the Lolly winner, I believe. The Lolly Wild Dark Shore. And so I'm technically behind because I have not read these yet, and these are the newer ones, but they were extras to the main one show that's going to be in rotation at some point. But yeah, I should have just stuck with Isako instead of canon. But, we live, we learn. A co-worker of mine gave me Wool by Hugh Howley, which I don't know much about. I know it's a trilogy of a sci-fi dystopia. What would you do if the world outside was deadly and the air you breathed could kill, and you lived in a place where every birth required a death, and the choices you made could save lives or destroy them? This is Jules' story. This is the world of Wool. I'm not saying that I'm not excited about this, but it sounds like a very intense sci-fi dystopia that I'm like, this will make me feel bad, and I know it's gonna make me feel bad. And I kind of want to, but kind of don't want to. You know what I mean? But I've heard a lot of good things. I know it is also a TV show. I think it was recently adapted. Oh, my water bottle. So, she gave it to me because she knows that I like reading, and I was like, thank you so much for giving it to me. I don't know when I'm gonna get to it. It's a trilogy, so that's also going to be a commitment if I want to. I'm trying to, when I read my TBRs, depending on different things, finish the entire series through. I was trying that before, but now it's a little iffy, but whatever. This is a trilogy, I believe, and so I'm like, that's going to be a commitment. So we'll see. I recently bought Mexican Gothic by Silvia Moreno Garcia because I wanted to. It's on a whim. I saw it on, and I think it was for sale, maybe, or like, oh no, there was a store-wide sale, so I bought it. And I've heard a lot of good things. It's a Southern Gothic. Well, that Mexican Gothic is vampires? No. Reimagining of the classic Gothic horror novel, a story about an isolated mansion in 1950s Mexico, and the brave socialite drawn to its treacherous secrets. It's a horror. It's a Gothic horror. What's a subgenre? I think there was a subgenre attached to this, but I don't remember. But this is, I've heard a lot of good things about Silvia Moreno Garcia. I have not yet read any of her books, but I wanted to start on that because Latina author, want to get that under my belt. You know what I mean? And finally, in this last group, we have Blood Justice, which is in my bookstore. They gave it to me as an ARC. Highly anticipated. Oh, it's a sequel. God damn it. I didn't even pay attention to that either. It's a sequel to Blood Depths by Terry J. Benton Walker. So if I get to that, I'll have to read it. TJ Klune blurbed it. Blood Debts sings with hope and rage. Deadly tale of sacrifice and betrayal in a magical modern-day New Orleans. That sounds fun. I believe it might also be YA. It looks to be horror or fantasy or both. Definitely some fantastical elements. I don't know if it's horror specifically. Oh, and it's queer too, is it? At the front here, there is the dedication. It says, for the Black queer community, when existing at the intersection of Blackness and queerness becomes too difficult, remember that gods are often found at crossroads. Oh, that's nice. I like that a lot. Oh my god, that's emotional. Ooh, what is this? We have a little diagram that has sun, moon, and the sun gives light magic, and the moon gives moon magic, and both of them make shadow magic. Light magic has white mages and warlocks, shadow magic has vamps, and moon magic has Gen, Gen, and necromancers. Oh, a family tree! Oh, this might have spoilers. Oh, more family trees! Oh, sick. Okay, this is actually exciting. I was just, there was just like, I think it was like indie bookstore day, and there was a wheel, and one of the awards was being given, choosing one of the options of arcs that they don't want to hold on to anymore for just as a prize. And so I chose this one because I was like, it's a genre book. I like genre, so I might as well get this. And actually, it sounds pretty cool. This is what the cover looks like. I'll have to find the first book. I'm gonna put you away. Okay, now we get to the books that I got at the bookstores that I visited in the Pacific Northwest. I tried taking pictures of me and my boyfriend in front of the bookstores. I only managed to do that 2 or 3 times, and then I completely forgot to keep doing it. So if I have pictures, I'll show them. But yeah. I got Bunny by Mona Awad, which I've heard a lot of good things about. Specifically, I believe Jen at Literary Love 123. I believe this is one of her, if not her most favorite horror book. Jen, hey, if I'm correct in that, please let me know. If I'm incorrect, you didn't hear that from me. This is I believe it's a horror, similar to a Mean Girls, Heathers type of situation with the bunnies in New England's elite Warren University There's a clique of unbearably saccharine yet sinister rich girls who call each other Bunny and seem to move and speak as one. I've read a handful of other books, or I've seen, okay, well, The Honeys by Ryan LaSala, very similar to this. Like I said, Heather's Mean Girls. And so I saw this at a bookstore called Bookish, which was so cute. I loved Bookish so much, and my boyfriend and I wanted to go back because they had like a little cafe bar, and we wanted to go back to it, but we never got a chance to. It was also, they were had recently moved locations, so the selection wasn't that large. There was a lot more children's books than there were YA, and even less fiction adult books. However, I just know that it was because they recently moved, so they have still space to grow, and so I'm really excited to go back to that bookstore because I absolutely loved it. I think I have a picture here. Then I got Shy Creatures by Claire Chambers. I got this at it was like an antique store in Camus. I forget what it's called. Oh, do I have the receipt anywhere here? No. I kind of just got it because I knew that it was going to be quote unquote cheap. It was like $7, and it looked nice. And I'm not sure what it is about. This is what the cover looks like. An alluring literary mystery of secrets and lies set in 1960s England when an art teacher at a psychiatric hospital finds her life turned upside down by an arrival of a mysterious patient. I just like the cover, so it was mostly a cover by that I wanted to read. I'm going to put you at the bottom here. Next, I got Abaddon's Gate by James S.A. Corey, the third book in the Expanse series, which I've been reading. Really funny because I had I got this at Autumn Leaf Books. There's another picture. Really funny because I knew that I was going to buy some books. I went to the Pacific Northwest carrying 4 books to read already. 2 books to and from, that being the second book in the Expanse series, Caliban's War, which I read on the plane ride towards, and then on the plane ride back, it was the third book in the Poppy War. And then the other 2 books were just in case I finished the bigger books on the plane ride, whatever. I finished Caliban's War on the plane to Pacific Northwest. This is the first bookstore that I went to, and this is not in chronological order. This is the first bookstore I went to, and they were selling. There was a whole section of all of the books in the Expanse here, and I was like, you know what? I mean, I need to get the third book soon, so I bought this book. Maybe it was a little bit more expensive than if I would just get it normal ways, like I got the first 2 books through thrift books, but I was there. It was nice. I liked the little shop there, Autumn Leaves, and so yeah, this is the third book, and I'm really excited to get to this. This is not going to be in the TBR rotation in terms of this is definitely going to be read in June because I have to keep up. I'm trying to read the Expanse series, 1 book every month, with the goal of finishing the series by the end of the year. So I'm going to put you at the bottom. And then after that, it was different days, and I forgot to take pictures in front of the bookstores. So we have Strange Pictures by Uketsu, which we got at Wijimaya. Specifically, I don't know if any of you heard of Wijimaya, because I have not. I've never heard of a Wijimaya. Well, Matthew's probably talked about Wijimaya, but I'm a visual learner, and so he told me about Wijimaya, but I don't really remember about it until we actually went there. Really nice Asian market, and inside it there was this store called Kinokuniya Books, and really cute little bookstore there. There was one section that was a lot of like anime, manga, stuff like that. There was one section that was like American or English books. I wasn't fully paying attention. They may have been entirely Asian authors, but I don't fully remember that. But there was also a separate section that was American books written by Japanese authors, which Uketsu is a Japanese author, and I've been wanting to read Strange Pictures, and I had planned before to read Strange Pictures, Strange Houses, and Strange Buildings back to back, but I'm gonna treat it as as if it's a series, and so I'm gonna once I finish this book, then I'll get to the second book and read that, etc. But I've heard a lot of this is a horror, supernatural horror about drawings that are evil, and I am absolutely terrified and excited to get to read this because I've heard a lot of good things about this, about strange pictures, about strange buildings. I think it's strange buildings and strange houses, or strange. Ugh. Strange Houses is the second one, and Strange Buildings is the one that just came out. That's it. I was like, I need to get to this. I need to read this. And I saw it there at this really nice Kinokuniya store. I want to go back. The next two books are bookstores that we stopped at because we went around the coast of Oregon, and we stopped at Astoria, Seaside, Cannon Beach, and Lincoln City. And at Seaside and Cannon Beach, we went to two different bookstores, and I forgot to take pictures in front of them. And I don't remember what they were called. I got... Oh, here it is. This one I got at Seaside. You might have seen it. It's Piranesi, Susanna Clark. I've heard so many good things about it. Honestly, I thought it was bigger. I could have sworn that I've seen copies of this book that were extremely thick, and I was super excited to read that. But I don't know why I thought of that, but this one's technically kind of small. I got this at Beach Books at Seaside, Oregon. Beach Books. And it is a fantasy about Piranesi, who lives in this ever-growing house. I've seen this compared to The House of Leaves by Mark Z. Danielewski in terms of House of Leaves is Nothing Matters depressed, and then Piranesi is Nothing Matters happy. You know what I mean? And so I've heard a lot of good things about this. Susanna Clark, really famous author, and so I saw this and I was like, yep, sure, gotta get it. And then I got The Antidote by Karen Russell at, do I have the receipt here? I do have Cannon Beach Book Company. Sometimes they put the bookmarks in here, so that's good to know. Cannon Beach. This is a historical fiction about Black Sunday, a historic dust storm ravaging the fictional town of Ooze, Nebraska during the Great Depression. And this book follows a prairie witch whose body serves as a bank vault for people's memories and secrets. Sounds sort of like The Giver. And it's a historical fiction. I've read some short stories by Karen Russell that I've really liked. And so I saw this. I believe it's recently published as well. And so I wanted to get that, get it because of those short fiction that I've read of Karen Russell. Is this signed? Is this signed? Whoa! Oh my god, it's signed! What? I did not even realize that. Oh, that's so cool. Well, there's pictures in here. But yeah, this is another book that I got. And then if you've ever been in the Pacific Northwest, in Portland, you might know that there is a bookstore called Powell's, which is this huge, immense monster of a building bookstore. I want to say it's maybe 4 stories tall, and the stairs are a maze. It's a complete maze in there, and there are so many books. Last year, when we visited, I had gotten these books, these short story anthologies. If the shot's a little different, it's because I got the wrong one. These short story anthologies from Powell's. I got The Best Horror of the Year, Volume 14, edited by Ellen Datlow. I got The Best American Science Fiction and Fantasy of 2023, edited by R.F. Kuang, and edited by, 2022, edited by Rebecca Roanhauser. I got these 3 from Powell's, and I knew that I was going to go insane in that bookstore. Also, tangentially related, I had gotten Jewel Box by E. Lily Yu, Bookish, which was where I got Mona Awad Bunny. This was before they moved locations. I had gotten this book. I think I got a second book, but I don't remember. So yeah, Powell's, huge. So many books, it's so overwhelming. And so I wanted to... Oh, that's the other one. Sorry, I just saw it from across my bookshelves right over there. Fever House by Keith Rosen. I also got from Powell's, which is a horror set in Portland, where a severed hand sends people insane and causes a zombie outbreak. And I just recently read The Devil by Name, also by Keith Rosen, just very recently. And it took me a year between each to read these, but I got Fever House from Powell's as well. Forgot about that. Anyways, when going to the Pacific Northwest, I specifically packed in a way that I had space to hold books, right? I knew that I was going to return to Bookish, which I did. I kind of forgot that you could get books at the antique store, which I did. And then all of a sudden, I was like, okay, I know I'm going to get some books at Powell's. But then I went to other bookstores and got more. So I told myself, hey, at Powell's, only 1 or 2 books. Only 1 or 2 books. I got 4. In no particular order. We have Womb City by, I'm sorry if I mispronounce it, I believe it's Dolotolo Simasi. It is an Afro-futuristic and feminist tale, sci-fi tale, set in Botswana, where a woman, Nila, is in a loveless marriage, is very successful, but is monitored by a microchip, and her perfect life is precarious, and she commits a desperate crime and buries the body, hoping that she can keep one last secret. However, that secret begins to haunt her. Similar to Tall Tale Heart, maybe? Tolo Simasi brings searing intelligence and Botswana's cultural sensibility to the devastatingly timely question, how far must a woman go to bring the whole system crashing down? Sci-fi, futurism, Afrofuturism, dystopia, really cool. I heard about this book because I was doing some research after my video of Homegoing by Jesse. I wanted to read other African stories in other African countries. This is set in Botswana, and it sounds intense and really good too. So, got this one. I got Vagabonds. I'm sorry for my pronunciation. I got Elogusa Osunde, which is a maybe also Afrofuturism. No, it's set in the modern times. In Nigeria, vagabonds are those whose existence is literally outlawed. It is a book. I heard a lot about it thanks to Steph over at Coffee Over Apples. She loved this book, and I saw it, and I was like, might as well get it because it sounds really good. Shout out to Steph. Bought it because of you. I got Toward Eternity by Anton Her. Anton Her is a prolific translator. Anton Her has translated a lot of South Korean literature, including Bora Chung's Cursed Bunny. I recently read, as in the last year, The Court Dancer by Kyung Suk Shin. Amazing book. I read I loved Please Look After Mom, and I wanted to read The Court Dancer, and this is also translated by Anton Her. And there was a thing, I was reading Please Look After Mom is I forgot the translator. It's not Anton Her. And then I also read I'll Be Right Back, also by Kyung Suk Shin, translated by even different translators. So 3 different books I've read of hers with 3 different translators. And I think this one is not the best, but definitely the prettiest written. Part of it is, Kyung Suk Shin herself, but also the translation. Also, you have to do some work there. And so I wanted to read Anton Her because also this is about a queer sci-fi romance, well, it's not romance, but sci-fi, of a literary researcher, Young Hun, who teaches an AI named Panet how to understand poetry, and he creates a living thinking machine. But then Young Hun disappears, and Panet has to figure out what happened to him, and I believe it's queer. I thought I saw something that it was queer in the store, because it's a guy and then a robot who's also a guy, but is not a guy because he's a robot, whatever. But it sounded like right up my alley, and so I was really excited. Seeing how he translated Court Dancer, I was like, I need to read his actual work. We'll see how it turns out. And last but not least, I have Wake Up and Open Your Eyes by Claude McLeod Chapman, which I read one of his short stories as well. Oh, also interesting. Clay McLeod Chapman and Karen Russell are both authors that I've read short stories of that I wanted to read these books because of their short stories. short stories such as those included in the Best American Science Fiction and Fantasy of 2022 and 2023. I think the Karen Russell one I read was in 22, or the 19... No, it was one of the earlier versions, whatever. And then Clay McCall Chapman was in a short story collection called Found Footage, and I liked his a little bit. And I saw this horror that was recently published, and it's about a man, Noah, who goes to visit his southern parents who have become consumed by far-right cable news, and all of a sudden they have been hypnotized and begin attacking him and people around him. And so he and his nephew have to escape Richmond, Virginia. They have to escape to Brooklyn, trying to avoid being slaughtered by masses of basically zombies hypnotized by some TV program that they've been watching from the far right. So sounds loaded, sounds really fun. It's horror as well, and I've heard a lot of good things about this book. So yeah, this has been a recent book haul of all the books that I've been collecting so far. Again, unfortunately, they will not be in my TBR rotation except for not Calvin's War, but Abaddon's Gate, because I know that I'm going to be reading that this month. They will not be in rotation until I get through some more of my physical TBRs. I'll be having another TBR game where my TBR is chosen by tarot reading for June, so look out for that as well. And yeah, let me know if you've heard of any of these books, specifically the library books that I've not really heard about. If you can see, that's the bottom. Yeah. If you've seen these, please let me know. And then all of these other ones as well. I'm really excited to get to them eventually. I have so many books. Jesus Christ. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Share with your friends. Let me know what you think. Don't forget to be passionate, and I'll see you later.